Hello, my name is Leonard Paul, and I'm the audio director for Vessel, the video game, put out by Strange Loop Games, and it's coming to PC and Steam March 1st, so have a look at their website at strangeloopgames.com. What I want to do with this video is give you a good idea of what's sort of going on behind the scenes with the adaptive music for Vessel. Vessel is a puzzle platformer game, and liquid physics are really a key element, and what we want to do with the music is really underscore the action as you proceed through the puzzles. So one of the things that we're really excited about is having the music of Jon Hopkins. For those that don't know, he was nominated for the Mercury Prize with King Creosote for their work on their album Diamond Mine just last year in 2011. He's also collaborated with Brian Eno. He did a film soundtrack for a film called Monsters, and he also worked with Coldplay in 2008 on their album Viva La Vida. And he also toured with them as well. And he got his start playing keyboards with Imogen Heap. So he has worked with a lot of great artists. So pretty amazing sort of collaborations there. So we're really very happy to have his music in the game. And the cool thing is that the music was actually, like, those tracks were in the game, even in the prototype for Vessel. So those songs have really shaped the gameplay. So check his Facebook page out, have a look at his Twitter feed, because he's going to be coming out with a new album and be doing some more film work this year throughout 2012. So what happened when we were working with Jon Hopkins is that once we sort of, got the deal rolling, he delivered to us stems, which are basically sort of a reduced set of his individual tracks, so the way he puts the songs together with the different instruments, right? And so he would send usually around 20 to 30 tracks or so of each one of his songs. So what that would allow us to do is basically pull the song apart and make it so that we could figure out how to get it to sound really good interactively in the game. So this is a track called Insides by him. I would take those tracks and then I would submix or downmix those and create 4 layers, being an ambient layer, and that's a layer that always plays when the song is playing. And then there's the bass layer and the drums and the harmony, as you can see there, those 4 different colors. I'm able to change the mix level on those 4 interactively as the game's running. So hopefully you can sort of have a look and see what's going on here. And the thing is that with the way that I was changing it there is that the tracks were popping in and out, but that wouldn't happen with the game. The tracks, those 4 different layers get faded in slowly and faded out slowly. So I would take that FL Studio session and then basically output the 4 layers, and then I put that into Wavelab. Wavelab is like a mastering sort of, like it's focused on 2-track, but you can also do multi-track mixes in there as well. And so for me, it was a really sort of scalpel precision way of figuring out exactly what things would sound like and sort of play around with them. And also just find that it's better for me to use a different program rather than trying to cram everything into one particular program. So here, once again, I'm muting the things on and off. They would just fade in the game. And so the adaptive music system that's in the game was actually, I designed it with the help of Kieran Lord of Cratesmith. He's a programmer, and he was the guy doing the audio coding for Vessel, and we came up with some really cool ways of figuring out how to really trigger that stuff in the game. So it's a custom system that we developed specifically for Vessel, and so if you sort of look under the hood and see all the details and whatnot, it is fairly complicated. So let's have a look at what this sort of sounds like in the game. So this is the boss battle here. He's like a lava boss, and he hurls like these fluoros at you. The fluoros are kind of like, they're almost like little robots, and you got to figure out how to get them to do what you want to solve the puzzles in the game. Oh, and just to note that, yeah, this is the editor. That's the reason why there's those icons. Ooh! Toasty. Alrighty, so that was a quick look there. And you can see here, these are all the triggers that are happening with this particular level. There's like over 10 of them. And so that's how we modulate those layers in the game, depending on what's happening with the game. And if we look and sort of zoom into one of those changes, we can see this is an A-B sort of change. So A stands for ambient, B is for bass. And then if we were doing drums, that would be D, and harmony is H. So you can see here that in the ambient layer and in the bass layer, there's different definitions for how quickly the track fades in, how long it holds for, and how long it'll take to fade out when there's another sort of, music box, as we call it, that gets hit. And the cool thing is that we can take those markers that you saw in the previous two softwares and then find out where significant changes are happening, so that it becomes more musical. And this is sort of looking under the hood at Fmod. Fmod is it's an audio middleware solution for video games, because a lot of video games, to trigger audio, it takes a long time to code that stuff from scratch. And so Fmod is a great way of being able to figure out how the audio goes into the game, but not to be too technically complicated. So it allows an artist, to be able, as far as a composer or a sound designer, meaning artist, to put their stuff into the game. So what I'm doing here is that I'm able to bring layers in and out, and they just get muted here. But the cool thing about the code that was added by Karen is that the layers actually fade in and out. So here you can see a big view of it, and I worked sort of doing this adaptive sort of music design on other games as well, and I'm quite happy with this system. So if we look once again at the game in the editor, that's the reason why there's all that debug information on the screen. And if you look at the side there, you can see these are the three different sort of conditions that'll happen here. When you just enter, when you're solving the puzzle with the meter, and then when you sort of hop on that thing at the side. And I was just mousing over the different layers that you can see there as well. Here we turned the debug information off, and then we can see Arkwright jumping around and doing stuff, and there he is solving the puzzle. So what happens is that the drum track will come in when that happens. Jump off of it, then the ambient layer will basically come back in again, and it takes out the drum layer. So sort of, you solve the puzzle, there's that excitement, sort of underscores that, and then what happens is that it goes back to what it was doing before, right? So that there is an overview of the way that the adaptive music design is done for Vessels. There's a lot of complexity in it, and it's a really fun game. I've been having a great time working on it. So it's put out by Strange Loop Games. My name is Leonard Paul, and my website is videogameaudio.com. And many thanks to Jon Hopkins and his record labels who allow us to use his 10 tracks in the game. So once again, that's Vessel by Strange Loop Games, coming out March 1st, 2012, on the PC first, and then on PlayStation 3 and 360. So have a look, strangeloopgames.com. Thanks.